This is going to be a what's in my bag cross-country ski video. I've got everything laid out because, well, I got a bit of snow in my bag tonight. Pardon the choppy frame while I scoot close enough to actually show you all this. And I have some why and some wherefore, and I really hope some more people will follow some of my advice, because there's been quite a few times where I've come across emergencies while cross-country skiing out on, you know, some of these trails. This is the same trail as that one, but I'll explain that momentarily. And I've been the only person who has what's needed to help solve a problem. So, the more of us out there that can take care of our own emergencies and or help take care of others, the better. So some of these things are simply for me and my comfort, and others are for emergency potential issues. I think the first thing that I'm going to put in there is my honkin' heap of quarters. Why do I have a honkin' heap of quarters and one accidental nickel? Let's take that out of there. And the reason is because up at Laurel Ridge, there is often no cell service, and there is, last I checked, still a payphone on the side of the ranger station. The ranger station is often unmanned. So that, I started carrying these the night that I came out in my battery. My car battery was dead, and I didn't know how I was going to reach anyone, because at the time, my cell carrier, darkness was falling, and my cell carrier only had connection when the Wi-Fi was on. It had been turned off at night for some reason that night, and also when I was a bit farther away, about 3 miles up the one extended trail, there's one spot. So, under those conditions, with darkness falling, it seemed most likely that the half-mile away ranger station with all the quarters would have been the best bet. Luckily, there was someone still there, and I had jumper cables. So, yeah, that's heavy, but I am very much okay with carrying that. The next thing we're going to do is look right past the cat. Randall, please don't be too helpful, okay? That's the nickel I don't need. Next thing we're going to put in there is Ziploc baggies. These are just sandwich-sized bags with a Ziploc on it. I always take a whole handful extra, and when I cleaned this out, there were another, 8 or so wandering about the bag. I keep these in the front. Some of them I end up keeping in the gut of the bag a lot of the time. But basically, the reason for the Ziploc bags is so I take my food out in a Ziploc bag so it doesn't get anything damp or dirty inside my bag. And then, say I eat an apple out of my bag. I still have a core. I'm not going to leave that in the middle of the woods like that. It's the leave no trace thing. And so then I'm able to, not make it a mess of squished frozen apple in my bag. I just stick it in a plastic bag and put it back in there. I can do that with eggshells. I like eggs and apples on the trail. I can also do that with my tissues and whatever else might happen. So, what we have here is a headlamp. There was an evening, I don't need that, or this, keeping those out. There was an evening when a friend caught up with me, and I only had my own headlamp, but I was really glad I had a headlamp because we got to ski for an extra couple of hours because I had that. It gets really dark up there. I also have extra batteries, and I keep those in the front pocket. And in addition to the headlamp, I have this. So batteries do get drained down pretty quick in the cold, comparatively. And they can get drained out by cold exposure. So yeah, those batteries are sitting in there. They might be getting towards dead. You never know. So in an emergency situation where you just need to figure out where not to fall in a hole or whatever, this is one of those types of flashlights that gains a charge by shaking. And it takes a lot of shaking to get it to actually have a charge. It has an extra light bulb in here too, I believe. So I carry this, and I did have to use it one time. It was a night that was a new moon, so there was absolutely no moonlight, and I was leaving at like 5 or 6, but it was in December, if you're wondering. Randall found a paper. It was in December, and it was a new moon, so it was like really dark, even though it was a little bit in the evening there. So that goes at the bottom. I do carry tissues all the time because skiing, your face gets cold, your nose gets runny, and skiing with a runny nose is not fun. Another thing that goes in the bottom of that pocket is an inhaler and some extra allergy pills, just in case. And in this pocket also is an eyeglass cleaning cloth. So, in order, let's talk about my maps. Story time! I had this exact map for an emergency, and oh, was I ever glad, because on it, somewhere here, was the actual emergency phone number for Laurel Ridge Cross Country Ski Hut, which is in here too. I have a really old version of the map and a really new one, just in case I end up on a trail that isn't on one of the other maps. I'm up there the most. But I came across someone who had actually broken their knee. And the 3 people who were with this person, I would not ski with them after that experience, that's for sure. They had not picked up a map, which is understandable, and had gone off in a direction that had a steeper hill, and she wasn't up for it and fell and had a broken knee. And they were trying to get her down the path, and she was starting to get hypothermic, and they were having a hard time trying to explain to 911 where they were. After explaining, after they gave up, here comes the kitty. Did you have a paper? Oh, that's great. That'll keep you busy. After explaining what was going on, I got out my map, and I called that phone number, and they were able to immediately come up with both the snowmobile and the skid, and the emergency was taken care of very quickly. This, then, I definitely made a habit thereafter of always having a map. So I always recommend that you have a map for where you're at, pick up the newest one, yada yada. Phone numbers can change. So I kept both of these out. This one's so small, it's actually kind of hard to remember I have it or dig it out. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue to carry both of them. I had pulled this one back into my bag because I didn't realize this was still in there. These are scrapers. So cross-country skis, say you go through a puddle or something, then your ski's wet and then it freezes on, and then you're picking up snow clods and you just have to scrape it off. And then, if you're getting a lot of that, you want to do glide wax just to keep that ice from adhering to the base of the ski. So this is a must, I think, to have with me. I came across somebody who was icing up way down the trail one time, and in trying to get her back in business, we ended up ruining my library card that day. So ever since, I always carried a scraper with me, and then I thought I didn't have this one, so I had 2. this just goes right alongside here. Let's see if I can get this to... So it just goes right along the side, and then this goes in front of the maps, and it fits so nice and is so easy to find. I think I'll just... I don't know. I'll leave it upright and see if I can start to remember I have that. In the front pocket, along with bandages, along with all the other medical stuff, I keep a few Band-Aids, alcohol swab, minor stuff. But these are the kind of Band-Aids that if you cut the edges off, you could do a like a butterfly suture with them. So, doesn't hurt to have options. And then I also, another just in case, I have actually never needed this, but I'd rather have it than not. It's a really lightweight folding knife with the, oh, that's safe. It was folded all the way, with the locking mechanism so that it won't refold on you while you're working. All right, I also always have a pad of paper and a pen. And that'll go right in the front of all of that. And the pen will go in the front. Yeah, I've definitely needed to take notes while on the trail, and it doesn't hurt to, like, you know, get the numbers of your new skiing buddies. What's wrong with that? Those are safety items I'll explain in a moment. I taped over the stuff I don't want you to know. Haha. And this is in the front pocket as well. If I have an emergency and there's no other way for people to know who I am, because maybe I'm unconscious or something, I want to have some ID on me even if I don't have my wallet on me. That's all. So you'll notice there's actually still quite a bit of extra space in here, and part of that is because I carry food in there, part of that is because a lot of times I do have my phone back here so it won't break, behind the maps and everything and against my back. My wallet will be in here, my keys will be in here, because what else are you going to do with them? You got to carry it somehow. These go on top. This is an empty eyeglass case because fogged up glasses you cannot see through. Sometimes you can just see better without them if that's the case. And then sometimes your nose gets really cold and you just want a face mask. So over here, let's just bring them closer. These I consider safety items. 3 of them need a lot of explaining. So I was reading quite a while ago, like at age 16, so more than half my lifetime ago, I was reading about kayaking safety and hypothermia remediation techniques, and my take home from that was this little kit for cross-country skiing. Usually not that far from civilization or doing any cold water kayaking, but it translates quite well. This is a space blanket, always a good idea to have, super light. It's like, what, 3 ounces? And a waterproof match case with a magnesium ferrocene rod on the bottom. And it's got matches in here, and also I tore the striking, that sandpaper stuff off the side of a matchbox and slid that in there. So I have matches and a striking paper in a waterproof match case, which was literally just laying around my house. Like, I don't know as if it needs to be waterproof. A Ziploc bag would have been fine. And a 9-hour candle. Whoopsie, dropped it. The point that was made in the kayaking article I was reading about hypothermia recovery was that you tuck a corner of this under your butt, you make like a cloak around yourself, so you basically have a small tent with a vent near your mouth. You light the candle and you put it inside that with you. You're not do it in a way that you're not going to get burnt, but it basically holds all the heat of the candle inside the space blanket, and then you have to be able to light the candle somehow. So this is my hypothermia recovery kit, which I would use in an emergency situation if I had to. This goes behind the maps, and then these just kind of hang out near the bottom of my bag. At which point I put in my face mask and my eyeglass case. And another thing that I have is a pad, because sometimes staying dry is super important. And a backup is a good plan to have. So, becoming damp near your core, especially while you're out on the trail, is probably the worst thing that could happen. This came with 2 bottles that look like this. I got this in 2007. It's currently 2018. And I got it at Walmart. It's just a double hydration pack from Outdoor Products. And it's held up pretty well. I had to repair here and along here during that time, and so I keep a screw top water bottle on my left because I'm right-handed, and a flip top water bottle on my right. At one point I tried to use water bottles that had straws, and what I learned that day was that the sloshing of the water is what prevents it from freezing. So as long as you're moving, your water is not freezing. The slosh effect, maybe there's another word for that, water moving around and splashing about. The sloshing of that water doesn't occur to the same extent inside a straw or inside a spout top. So this is just an open flip top with a good click for a seal. And then this is a screw off top, and I just refill this one when it's empty. I also have, if you're strobe sensitive, skip forward a few seconds. I'm going to go through the cycle on this. I have an orange strobe on this, so I have a light available to me. Or red is the best for avoiding ruining your night vision. I made a compromise because it came in a multi-pack, and I use the red all the time on my backpack, so I put orange on my ski bag. It will increase my visibility if needed, and can just help light stuff without ruining my night vision. Being able to be found is a major, major thing, like search party kind of moment. I don't always do the buddy system, and I have come across a lot of emergencies. I want to be as prepared as I possibly can. If you're wondering, these are some trail passes that I just never took off. And because of the type of skiing that I do, cross-country, trails, oftentimes on my own, sometimes at hours when there may or may not be anyone else in the park, this is me being ready for what have you as much as I possibly can. I've been skiing with this exact pack on my back end since 2007, which was when I got back into skiing. I had been taught how to cross-country ski when I was 14, and I'm now 37. I got back into it at 26. So this kit has gone with me for so long for cross-country skiing. I relearned how to ski with it on such that my balance, without it, I fall over because I don't know where my center of gravity is on skis without this pack. So it's always, always with me. And I highly recommend taking a look at some of the safety suggestions I've made and thinking about whether or not you want to include any of these ideas in your ski pack, or if you have a ski pack, maybe share it and let me know what you have. So I hope you're having a great It's November, and it snowed today, and I went down to the ballpark and I skied, and you betcha I took it with me. Everything was out because I got some snow in there. So, have a great evening. Bye.